Okay, so a lot has happened since we did this last interview. Just in terms, of course, of you signing to AEW, medically where you're at. You are now like back in the wrestling business, but I think like to me, the main thing to talk about right off the bat is the medical side of things. As soon as you signed to AEW, that really was like the big question mark about the whole thing. I mean, storyline wise, what's happening? I think there was like a lot of that just sort of swirling around. Fans were kind of chomping at the bit about that. And now here we are. So let's hash all that out.
Dig into that. Right. Okay. So when I first, as you know, like coming into AEW, first of all, you were a big part of that because, I was just like, I want to go where my friend goes to, but also it's not like the big picture. But like, when it comes to like signing with AEW, I remember telling you, I was like, I'm not really 100% knowing what I'm going to be doing there. Like, I really don't understand. I just know that I'm going to go there to help the division in some way, whether I'm on TV or behind the scenes. Like, I'm just there to try and help as much as possible. Even if the division is doing really well, it could always be elevated,
Of course, it's always good to have other minds and other perspectives on things. You got to kind of look at everything from like a million different angles.
Right. And that's why they got Madison and stuff like that too. To just like, she's part of the show, but she's also a big help from behind the scenes and stuff. So when I came in, I didn't really know like what the deal was. I just know that I was going to be a part of something and we're going to build something special here. But then when I got there, I was just like, I got the great reaction when I walked out and I was oh my God. And you cannot throw a wrestler out there and like tell them that they can't do anything else. You know what I mean? Like I came to terms with not being able to wrestle anymore and that's fine. Although I did a couple of years ago, I did do some x-rays and they were looking great, right? But I didn't do the full MRI, but I did the x-rays a couple of years ago. And it's not like the perfect read on your neck and stuff like that, with the whole fluid thing. But
you mean with doing an x-ray, you don't get the perfect view?
Exactly, yeah. So x-ray is just of the bones. And then MRI, you can see everything, like all the inner workings of your neck, like the important part, that they can see exactly like how much fluid is around there. Like they can see, it's really crazy how an MRI works. Stuff. And a CT scan too. Like it's all kind of in the same family, but I was like, I just did the x-rays because I was a little nervous about doing the MRI a couple of years ago. So I was just like, okay, they're looking good. Maybe in a couple of years I'll start getting, it starts getting better, but I'm like, I'm not going to rush it because Edge was out for like 9 years. Stone Cold had that match with Kevin Owens, but he didn't bump very much, like it was like very limited, but they still had an amazing match. So that was like inspiring to me. And I'm like, man,
with Vince taking that bump as a cherry on top of the whole
thing. Exactly. Right. And I was like, man, like I probably could pull off doing a Stone Cold match. Right. And that it was just like in my head. And I was just like, because the match, you wouldn't think that there was a crazy amount of bumps because the story that they told was so fantastic.
And they went all around the stadium, everything.
Exactly. I was like, well, maybe we can do something like that. So I remember like throwing the idea at Tony. And then he was just like, with Sting coming in, we kind of like, we did tag matches. So he was like, well, maybe we can do some tag matches. And I was just like, if I was to come back, I would want it to be a singles match. So I remember talking to the doctors and they were like, okay, you can do this, but we're not going to like clear you to take a bump. And that's the whole misconception with like how the internet works is how they're like, oh, she talked to like 25 doctors and AEW Dr. Sampson cleared it. He didn't clear me for anything. Yeah. First of all, I went out there with Britt and we did our own thing. Like I didn't ask clearance from the doctor there, I'm going to be honest. And, he was cool with it. He was like, just please don't take a bump, right? Right. Not ready to take bumps yet. Anyway, so he was like, if you want to actually have matches, like we have to get you completely cleared. That means MRI, CT scans, everything. So I was like, okay, well, I don't want to go to a doctor which is associated with wrestling, right? Because I feel like there's a little bit of bias there. Mm-hmm. And I'm just like, I don't want to make the same mistake where I came back and then I was like wrestling every single day and just like doing all these crazy things. I'm like, no, I really want to be aware and careful of my neck this time around. Like, I really want to get to like the nitty gritty of what my neck looks like and how much I can do. And if I'm even going to be paralyzed, because that was the biggest scare, is that if I did wrestle, I could potentially get paralyzed. So Halloween, the perfect day, right? I went to the doctor here in California, one of the best doctors around. He did a bunch of NFL, NBA, all these huge action stars, like celebrities, like actors and actresses and all that kind of fun stuff. So I was like, well, if anyone's going to tell me like no, like this guy's going to tell me no, right? Because he's, fantastic, and his job is on the line if he just lets someone go back to work. So yeah, I got the X-rays done, and he was just like, these are great, but we still have to triple check. So let's get the CT scans, MRI, and he managed to squeeze them in the same day. Right. So I went downstairs for the MRI. I went across the street for the CT scan. I brought them back all in the same like hour or so. It was like very quick. And then he sat there and went through them all, and he was just like, you're cleared. And I just like burst into tears. I was like, are you serious? So I started asking questions like, well, what about the fluid around my neck? And I remember seeing my last MRI with the fluid. And I'm not saying I'm a doctor or anything, but like I've seen a few MRIs, and I'm like, there seems to be fluid around that area. So like, that's why I asked, I was like, what's the deal there? And then he was just like, well, the fluid is back. He was just like, the fusions look perfect. He was like, there's no fractures above and below. There's no issues, around it. And so I was like, okay, let's talk about paralysis though. Like, and he was like, it's rare. If you get kicked there, he was like, you have some cushion now. He was like, and if you ever feel like you're not feeling too well, he was like, take some time off. He was like, your body. He was just like, but I will clear you to get back in the ring again. And I was just like, all right, well, how many matches can I have? And he was like, let's take it easy. We'll do like one match a month here and there, and then gradually start building it up. But yeah, so long story short, Halloween is when I got like the full clearance. I called my parents. I was crying my eyes out, which I screenshot a picture. I think I sent it to you.
From the doctor?
Yeah. I think I actually sent it to you. And did I? I think I did.
Yeah, you did.
And it was like, it's such a beautiful moment. And then Ronnie's there, and he's just like, he's been with me the whole time that I haven't been wrestling. So he's never actually seen me wrestle before.
Crazy.
Yeah. So he's just like, I have to go watch you wrestle? Like, what the f-? And then he's just like been like, don't do this, don't do that. He was just like naming all these moves. And I'm like, trust me, I'm going to be fine. I'm not going to be like going, absolutely crazy. But I also don't want to be held back either. Like, I'm fully aware of what I can and can't do. No, I'm not going to get kicked in the back of the head again,
Yeah.
Which was my fault, you guys. Again, that was my fault. And then the first person I texted as well was Mercedes, Sasha. Because I was just like, that girl.
Oh my gosh, I didn't know that. What was that conversation like?
So I text her. She was one of the first people I text, because I'm like, of all that stuff, like that can mentally someone up to like end someone's career. And the internet brutal. So, and a lot of people like pitched us against each other after that. Like all her fans would attack me. All my fans would, well, not all my fans. There's a very small percentage, but they would attack each other, and they're always the loudest, right? So like they were just going at it, and they still go at it. And then, they still send me like tweets being like, I'm so happy Sasha broke your neck. And then people are like tweeting at her being like, how dare you end someone's career? You're unsafe. She's not unsafe. It's an accident. It happens in wrestling. That's what we sign up for. But I told her, and I was just like, I just want to let you know. I can probably read the text actually.
Ooh, exclusive.
She was so sweet too. I just said, hey sis, I just want to let you know this, since I know this whole thing was really tough on you mentally, but my doctor just cleared me and told me my neck is 100% ready to go. I haven't told anyone else, but I know this will make you feel good. I'm back, haha. And she just like was like, I'm so happy. She was like over the moon and stuff like that. And I just said to her, I was like, I don't want you to feel bad anymore.
Yeah.
I had that period of time away, and it actually was for the best in the long run, because I had time to really focus on myself, get healthy, get sober, start branching out and doing other things, And so, yeah, I just felt like it was meant to be. And, my neck healed in record time, it's 5 years, and I'm officially back. And I think that's pretty inspiring.